You straight up cuckooed that dude, bro. Oh my God.
You've got all your Charger gear on because
feeling fresh as hell.
Well, you guys better enjoy it.
The fans loved it.
You have to love what you're seeing on tape if you're a Chargers fan, especially for the future with Justin Herbert.
On the move and throws and touchdown.
Do this together. Players, coaches, staff, fans, together we can create something truly special.
Stay tuned for some good content.
tick-tock, says the clock, as we get closer to Sunday, folks. Welcome back to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Wolldog, sitting with my buddy, Kev Huggin Duggan.
I'm so happy for so many reasons right now. I can't even get started.
We'll get into it, but let's not forget Kyle, the coach Duggan.
Somebody has to pinch me right now because it doesn't feel like real life. I'm dreaming.
Oh, folks, we are recording this Thursday night, right after the first game of the NFL season.
Suck it, Chiefs.
Holy shit. The Lions go to Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs. What?
Oh, my goodness.
What?
This is a good sign, guys. Anytime the Chiefs lose, it's a good... What, they use like 3 times a year, it feels like?
Yeah.
And we got one week 1.
Right out of the way. Right out the gate.
On Thursday night. They were like, dude, that season, that schedule is so set up for them to just like wreck house.
Yeah.
You know, you're not tired. You get the first Thursday night of the season at home against Detroit. Detroit's a good team, but like you're at home. When we play on Thursday, it's after having played on a Sunday, short rest. They avoided the whole short rest thing. This was just handed on a silver platter, and they just right in the sheets.
Fumble-rooskied it right onto the floor.
It could not have started any better for us. The first game, they lose. We come in
with the pick 6.
Yeah, he just didn't look. But the problem I had was with the commentators because they were like, "Oh, he's his great self as usual." Like, yeah, he was annoying. He was scrambling, but he wasn't throwing all that well in that game. Or it was just a lot of drops. But it was not Chiefs football that I'm used to seeing at all.
Well, the only way that the day could have been better is if Chargers dropped an all-in episode, and some bitch
they did.
They did.
So if you have not seen it, folks, I recommend grabbing a tissue.
It's emotional, man.
It is an emotional moment.
We say that jokingly, but it is the level of storytelling and the way they edited this and told this story. Man, like I was saying, like award season stuff. Like this doesn't feel like a documentary produced for a football team. This is like Sundance.
Yeah.
Let's go to Sundance.
No, it is really quite.
I'm telling you, man, it's unreal. And I haven't seen it yet. I'm biased as shit with this football team.
Yeah.
But as a filmmaker, stepping out and looking at how they did this, it is.
I'm telling you,
so good.
I think we're gonna get some more fans as these all-in episodes come out because they are that well made that it is borderline impossible not to get invested with this team and these players and what they're trying to accomplish this year. It really is something special. Go check out the all-in episode 1.
Antonio Gates says one thing in this thing in the beginning of this episode that gets me. I had the goosebumps were like popping out.
Good.
Like honestly, my arm hurt.
Wait, I haven't watched this yet. We're gonna watch it on Patreon, right?
We are.
We'll do it right after this.
We will watch it and we'll get all up into it. But
and finish.
Yes. All right, folks. Just to touch base here on this episode that we've got lined up for you. We've got a Craig experience and a Bolt beat lined up for this episode, but we are already diving deep into it because everything is just happening all at once here on this Thursday because Chiefs lose, Chargers get an all-in episode. Everything is just right with the world right now. Everything, the stars are aligning, folks, and football starts Sunday.
Suck it, Drew Tranquil. Enjoy that fat L.
Oh, I forgot about that. I didn't even see him out on the field.
Yeah, because he didn't play. I didn't see him once.
Holy
oh, no.
Shit.
Poor guy.
Oh, buddy.
I wasn't paying attention to kickoff and punt, so maybe that's when he was on the field. I don't know.
Yikes. Well,
sweet boy.
Well, in 48 hours, Kevin and I will be touching down into LA, and we're going to be all together. Oh, I cannot wait.
I'm so excited, man.
Thank God for the Chargers.
Yeah,
they're just so good. They just bring us together. unify us over something that's
it
so
always
much
feels
fun.
like it's going to be forever until we do this again. And now we're
Yeah.
back. We're at that moment where we get to do this again. All right. Well, let's take a look at what's been going on with the Chargers. They finally recently tweeted out the team captains for the Chargers to the tune of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 team captains for the Chargers, starting with Keenan Allen, understandable, Austin Eckler, Josh Harris, who I think this is his first time being a team captain.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard of a long snapper being a team captain.
Well,
He's that dominant.
Let's go through the rest. You got Justin Herbert, Derwin James, Sebastian Joseph Day, Eric Kendricks. First year on the team, and he's a team captain.
That's pretty rad.
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
And then you also got Corey Linsley and Khalil Mack. So if you look at all the names and their positions, there was basically a team captain with every position: wide receivers, running backs, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, edge rushers, linebackers, safety, special teams. So I feel like it might have been Dustin Hopkins last year. He might have been a team captain for special teams, and now Josh Harris is holding the mantle.
I like it.
But yeah, all of these guys are leaders. They're captains for this team. They're because team captain is voted on by everybody else that's on the team.
Players. Yeah.
So awesome to see. And yeah, Eric Kendricks, first year in, he's already a team captain.
Man, I'm trying to look through and see if he was a captain for the Vikings. It
I
looks
think
like he was only one year because I see the captain patch,
Yeah.
and it just has 1 star underneath. So it looks like he put in a lot of work there and was only a captain for 1 season.
Wow.
Weird.
And boom, bada bing, bada boom, he joins the Chargers and he's already that guy.
Something to be said about
That's
it for
pretty
sure.
sweet. I mean,
Yeah.
if we look back at the offseason and people were talking about him, how great he was and how much of a difference maker he is. And he's like, and then they interview him. He's like, I haven't even made any big plays yet. I don't know. Like, I'm just out here doing my thing. Yeah.
Right.
The humble nature of him, I clearly did something right. You want the guy, the biggest name that we brought in on defense this year to make an impact, not only on the field, but with his teammates. And he absolutely did that. The proof's in the pudding with this.
Good point. Let's see. Ian Rappaport tweeted out good news for the Chargers. We could always use a bit of good news. J.C. Jackson, who ended his season last year with a serious knee injury, is not listed on the injury report. Not even on it.
Who would
not limited practices or nothing, just not even on the report.
Would you have guessed that this could have happened?
Dude, Jalen Guyton's not even back yet. And he got hurt around the same time, tore his ACL, bad injury.
Yeah.
Not as bad as JC's, though.
No one considers that a career ender, but JC's was like, he might never play again.
Yeah.
And he's back week 1, not even on the injury report. Full participant in practice.
Playing.
Yeah, a quote from J.C. Jackson per Dan Popper said, "I'm not putting no limit on my knee. I'm ready."
Let's go.
Oh,
man.
Come on. It's just too good. And then look at this injury report.
Yeah.
What are the Dolphins doing right now?
I don't know. Yeah, the injury report came out for the Chargers and the Dolphins. Chargers have 2 players. Deion Henley still dealing with the hamstring injury, and Chris Rumph also with a hamstring injury. Limited on Wednesday. Neither one of them practiced on Thursday. So
I saw Chris Rumph on like the behind the scenes videos, and he was walking out there, looked happy, looked content. So
good.
I think it's just precautionary. It sounds
Tweaked it a little bit.
Yeah,
it's fine. We can deal with that. But yeah, the Miami Dolphins one looks like Chargers last year.
Dude, this is mid-season injury report. This isn't coming off of they had a whole week off last week.
There's 11 players on here.
Yeah, to be fair, the majority of them got some full practices in on Thursday, but still.
We've talked about it before. If you're put on the injury report, you're not at 100%.
True.
So all of these guys, whether they're practicing full or limited or not at all, none of them are at 100% or they wouldn't be on the injury report.
Very true. Yeah, some of the big names to look at on there, Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, dealing with an oblique.
Yeah, Teron Armstead too, the tackle. It didn't practice. It's 2 days in a row.
Liam Eichenberg, the offensive lineman. He was a big name. So it's
they're already short at running back, and they got 2 more running backs on this injury report.
Some teams, man, it happens. Like some teams just come to the season already doing this stuff.
Yeah,
we don't want anybody to be hurt or injured, but
right.
It's just crazy that it's not us. That's just it's the difference.
Yes. How the turns have tabled.
That's right.
All right. Well, folks, we have ourselves a new segment, and
hell yeah, we do.
This is Kevin's idea. So Kevin, pitch us the segment. What are we doing?
So I feel like Justin Herbert and the Chargers, to some extent, live rent-free in our opponents' heads. So this segment is now called Rent-Free. So on social media, specifically Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it now, there are people that make comments and say stuff that are so psychotically crazy that sometimes they just fly under the radar. And I want to highlight, we're not going to say the name. We're not going to say the name of the person or the handle. We're not going to blast them out like that. But we are going to just tell you what was written. And a lot of these were submitted by some of the Charge Chat listeners and followers on Twitter. They sent me some of the best stuff they've seen so far in the week leading up. So why not kick us off, Adam? And should we do something fun with this? Maybe a voice? Friday voices?
Sure. What are we thinking?
We don't, because we don't usually get Friday voices. I'll take some Friday voices.
Okay, I got a good one. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Tua is more clutch than Peyton Manning. Tua has more arm strength than Dan Marino has. Tua runs better than Michael Vick. Tua is more accurate than Mahomes. Tua has better pocket presence than Josh Allen has. And Tua is just way better than Joe Burrow.
This is a hot take, guys.
There's like 8 hot takes. There's 8 hot takes in here.
That's Tua is like the dream constructed quarterback.
He is perfect. He's better than Peyton Manning, Michael Vick, Dan Marino, and Mahomes and Allen.
But
and
he's
Burrow.
better than them at their best thing.
Yeah.
Like what they're the best at, he's still better than them at that.
Yeah.
So crazily awesome.
He runs better than Michael Vick. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
The thing is, I don't want to say this guy's name, but he's not joking. This guy says this kind of stuff. There's no joking in this. He's so confident, and it says the craziest shit. So,
hey, shamelessly positive to a whole nother level.
Shamelessly
That's
blinded.
delusionally positive.
Ding, 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 rent free.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. We got another one here.
I'm not saying that Tua Tagovailoa is better than Dan Marino, but maybe are equals.
Equal to Dan Marino?
No.
Equal to Dan Marino.
What?
Yeah. In what way? Please explain.
Do tell. Please
show your work
in the comments. Please show your work.
It's like we're Justin Herbert homers, like, and Kevin more than anyone in the world, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Justin Herbert has broken pretty much every record that you can break in your first 3 years without winning 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah, but
like even us were like, his career is not on the career of Phillip Rivers still. Like he hasn't had that impact on the Chargers that if his career ended now, it's not, I wouldn't put him on the level of Phillip Rivers. This guy's saying he's better than Dan Marino.
I guess he hasn't been a Dolphins fan for very long, because I remember Dan Marino, and Tua is not Dan Marino. And hey, guess what? I want to say this. Tua said some really nice things about Justin Herbert this week, and it kind of made me like want to walk back a little bit. I'm not mad at Tua. I'm mad at all the people talking shit about Herbert.
Right.
That's how they're defending
100%
Tua.
Right.
Tua seems like a great guy
against Tua. Yeah.
Great quarterback,
but
obviously.
Until you're in an Ace Ventura Pet Detective movie, you're not on Dan Marino's level.
You're not on the same level.
No. Isotoners. Come on now.
Laces out.
Laces out.
Ding, ding, ding. Rent free.
Rent free.
All right. We've got one from our fellow Charger podcaster, Dan W., who tweeted out, reminder, Chargers are playing their entire second string defense versus the majority of the starting Niners offense. And so that's in regards to the preseason game. Week 3.
This had nothing to do with the Dolphins.
Nothing
It was a
to do with
statement
Tua.
about a preseason game.
Yep.
To which somebody responded, they're so overconfident, it's hilarious. Week 1 is an easy W for the Finns.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Dan wasn't interacting with Dolphins fans
They
whatsoever.
just
tagged
If
the
anything, he
Dolphins.
hashtagged the Niners.
Yeah.
And then this person comes in. We are so rent free, man. It's
Yeah.
absolutely crazy.
They're like zombies. Like instead of wanting to eat brains, they have to like support Tua,
Yeah.
tweet poorly. Oh,
Yeah.
ding, ding,
Crazy.
ding.
Rent free.
All right. And lastly, this one came out. I found this one myself.
Yeah, you set this one up.
It was there was another Dolphins player that was talking nicely about Justin Herbert. I don't remember which player. I apologize, but somebody commented when
it was his former teammate, the safety out of Oregon.
Oh, okay, there you go.
When he was saying how like Justin used to beat him in sprints. At Oregon.
Right. Yeah, so he's like he said like once he beat me in sprints, I knew he was special.
Yeah.
To which this person replied, "When has Justin Herbert been special?" And the best response to that was just his first 3 years in the NFL, buddy.
Just his entire NFL career. He's been special for all of it.
That's how long he's been special.
I'm happy to list these off. Most passing touchdowns by a rookie QB,
Yep.
most completions by a rookie,
Yep.
most passing yards in a QB's first 2 seasons,
Yep.
most touchdowns in a QB's first 2 seasons,
Yep.
most passing yards in a QB's first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Very special.
It's pretty special.
My special boy.
It's pretty special.
My special boy.
Ding, ding, ding.
Rent free.
Rent free.
Thank
We're
you.
going to get the hang of it. We're trying some
It's our
stuff
first
on for
time
size.
trying this segment, folks. Let us know
But
down in the comments.
it gives you a little bit of fuel as a fan.
Yes.
When you see these Dolphins fans at the stadium.
Yeah.
Just be gracious because they are delusional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They ain't right.
No.
Clearly.
Ain't right.
There's too much. What do they have in fish? Too much lead or whatever gets into
Iron?
the iron. No, something that gets into fish.
Mercury.
Mercury.
They've had
Mercury.
too much mercury, and they're
Mercury.
going a little cuckoo.
That's right. Well, you know where
They're
you
not
won't
right.
find Mercury, folks. It's over at our Patreon, patreon.com/chargerchat, Mercury free. Go check it out. We've got some funny videos posted over there, and we are going to be posting an all-in watch here pretty soon. We're posting stuff every week, folks. So go check out patreon.com/chargerchat. And if you don't want to go over there, that's totally fine. You can go on over to our regular website, chargerchat.com. Check out all the cool stuff we got over there. T-shirts, hoodies, and stickers. You can chat it up with other Charger Chatteteers in the member section and ask questions and Ask Bold fam. So go check out chargerchat.com. If you ever thought, why the heck is my wireless bill so dang high? Then let me tell you about Mint Mobile, who we're partnering with for today's episode. You might already know Mint Mobile if you've seen those funny ads from Ryan Reynolds, who's also an owner, but let me quickly tell you about how awesome their service is. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 a month, and you don't have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or data. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network. They keep costs low because they sell direct to you online. They cut out all the retail stores and the salespeople and things like that. Why should you pay more than you have to for access to the same network? It's a good question. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code if you're interested in the best value in wireless. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning fast 5G and free mobile hotspot. Mint also offers a modern family plan that lets you set up a super affordable family plan with as little as 2 lines. Now, I've used Mint Mobile, and I gotta say, everything that they've talked about as far as switching over being extremely easy is 100% true. It was a super easy process, and then once I was switched over, I honestly didn't notice a difference in my performance. You know, all the apps that I typically used, like Twitter and YouTube and things like that, ran exactly the same as they normally did on my previous carrier. Like I said, switching to Mint is super easy. Thanks to their digital eSIM cards, you can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your own home. And if your phone isn't eSIM compatible, that's totally fine. Mint Mobile will ship you a new SIM card for free. It only takes about 15 minutes to switch, and Mint Mobile has great customer service if you need help. And right now, as a special limited time offer, you can get their unlimited plan, which is normally $30 a month, for just $15 a month. That's a 50% savings off their already super low price. It only takes 15 minutes to pay as low as $15 a month for your phone plan. It really is that simple. Use our link mintmobile.com/chargerchat to get started, or click the link down in the description or scan our QR code. It really helps out the channel. And if you've already made the switch to Mint Mobile, let us know down in the comments. We'd love to hear about your experience with them. Thank you, Mint Mobile, for being our partner for this episode. Now back to the show. All right, gang, time to go on to the next segment. You know 'em, you love 'em. It's the Craig Experience.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Come on in, man. Kick your feet up.
Oh,
Craig Experience.
hello there.
Make yourself at home. Got some stuff to talk about, right? Moving on.
Yes, sir. We've made it to the finish line. Week 1 of NFL action is in full effect. And by now, you've already seen the Lions versus the Chiefs, and hopefully the Chefs took the L. But either way, that's not what's important right now. What is that we are just mere days away from Chargers live football. Feels good. What a long off season. Finally over. We can get to the business now. And with that said, welcome, CC Gang. And to the rest of the Bolt fam, what is goody? It's your guy Craig in Texas with your week 1 edition of the Craig Experience. Okay, so right out of the gate, I want to apologize up front if I sound a bit nasally. Went on a cruise for my now 10-year-old son's birthday and came back with a little something. My wife got home, started with the sniffles, was congested. That, of course, got passed along to me, and now here we are. It's not the vid, though, so no worries about that. Anywho, let's talk about what's important. Week 1 versus the Dolphins on Sunday. Really looking forward to it, and just want to chop it up with you guys a little bit about some of the things that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. There's some storylines, whether they should be or not, and let's just skip the BS, get straight to it. Everybody's going to be watching the whole Tua versus Herbert thing, which at this point shouldn't be a thing, but it is because national media, and we definitely want to win this because I ain't trying to hear any BS from Emmanuel Acho, even though if Herbert completely goes nuclear and Tua wets the bed, he's going to find a way to make an excuse for him. And he doesn't want me to unload that diss video I made. I don't know if y'all heard the song or not, but if you follow me on Twitter or X or forget it, man, it's Twitter. I'm not doing that. I'll repost it just in case you missed it. It was fun. Anywho, so I fully expect Herbert to play really, really well. And I really don't know what to expect from Tua at this point. I will say that last year, the Dolphins seemed to have given up on the running game, which was the Chargers' Achilles heel, and just got really enamored with trying to pass the ball. And there was a really good game plan that Brandon Staley came up with to basically condense the middle of the field and force Tua to have to throw outside into the numbers, which is not his strong suit because he doesn't have that great of an arm. No diss to the guy. Great guy, good player. It's just kind of Dolphins fans that make us talk about him a little crazy though, right? It's nothing he's really done. Not a bad guy whatsoever. But I'm really looking, honestly, for the Chargers to win underneath. Here's the thing. As much as we know that they've been talking all offseason about bombing the ball deep more often, the truth of the matter is Justin's going to be playing against the Vic Fangio defense, which is what his coach runs. So he practices against it every day, but also what's the focus of that defense? Light boxes and to keep everything underneath, stop explosives over the top. So that kind of goes against what the Chargers may be looking to do. There are ways around that. You can, definitely want to push the running game a bit more against those light boxes, force those safeties to potentially come up, and then hit them with some play action over the top. There are ways around it. But outside of that, just really look for Herbert to play the patient game. So I wouldn't be super upset if y'all see a lot of, again, underneath dink and dunk stuff. It's just sort of kind of how you want to approach this sort of defense when you're talking about the passing game. I do expect a heavy, or at least a healthy dose of the running game. And that three-headed monster, well, can we call it that yet? Hopefully it's something that will show itself to be the case as the season goes on between Austin Eckler, Joshua Kelly, and Isaiah Spiller. And oh, by the way, I mentioned this before. They're playing against Vic Fangio. So it's essentially Miyagi versus Daniel with Staley and Vic. So, as far as Vic Fangio pupils go, they don't seem to have had the success on the defensive side of the ball that Vic did or does. And really curious to see how Staley stands up to it, or if Staley's going to be calling the plays in this game. I would imagine that going against his mentor, he probably wants to have a pretty significant amount of input, which I'm sure he would anyway, but don't know whether or not he's going to pass those duties off to our new DC, who I think I've mentioned this before, was a college teammate at Troy of my best friend. Another one of those who doesn't Craig no moments. But I digress. Next up, the gang's all here. So in the last matchup, you were missing names like J.C. Jackson, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, Sebastian Joseph Day, Trey Pipkins, Rashawn Slater. It's not the case this time around. And the Chargers pretty much manhandled the Dolphins. Now, the score wouldn't tell you that, but we know how that ended up. Couple fluky plays, a fumble that somehow Tyreek Hill picked up. It would be the Chargers' luck. The fastest dude in the NFL has the ball literally bounce to him, and he reverses field, and of course he's going to outrun everyone, but, go figure. And then, again, another, 71-yard touchdown, something like that to him against Vato, which, he trips over his own feet, and if he doesn't, that's probably one of the easiest interceptions he ever has in his life, and that accounts for 14 points. So, if you're not actually paying attention to the game, just looking at the score, you wouldn't know that. And some people do that, so they have no idea of how that game really went. They just see the score and said, oh, well, you guys just barely beat. No, that's not really how that was. It was pretty much a butt smacking. Pause. Yikes. But anyway, outside of that, J.C. Jackson, interested to see how he is deployed this week. I would not be surprised to see if he was on a bit of a pitch count. I mean, the fact that the dude's playing is not on the injury report whatsoever is something to behold in itself. You have the sort of injury that he had last season when he had it. And for many players, that's just kind of been the death knell in their career. And we saw all offseason how he just put in the work, getting better. Saw him making progress from literally barely being able to walk to full out sprints and cutting before training camp started. And it was just like, wow, dude's really, really put in the effort to get back on the field. So I'm hoping all the best for him. And I think he's going to show up and perform well. I just wouldn't expect that he plays the full complement of defensive snaps. Wouldn't be surprised to see some in and out there with Zant kicking to the outside where, he's going to be starting at star initially. And I really wouldn't be shocked to see there be a little bit of a rotation there. And speaking of Mr. Samuel, this will be his appearance in the slot at the star role. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Miami run the ball a little bit more. Just because they didn't last year and they might want to switch the game plan up a bit, it would be kind of foolish of them to roll back out there and think they're just going to toss the ball around the yard with Tua, especially with the Chargers' full complement of players on the defensive side of the ball. It'd be a little silly. How's that going to hold up if the ball is run, on outside zone or a sweep or anything like that, stretch plays to his side? He's going to be dealing with sometimes some tight ends, some bigger wide receivers that are going to attach to him and try to drive him out of the play. So want to see some improvement there. I'm sure he'll be fine in coverage, but how does he hold up against the run? So ideally, the Dolphins come out there and want to play pitch and catch and put themselves in a big hole, and the Chargers just destroy them. Oh, what a glorious week one that would be. Bragging rights, trolling of Emmanuel Acho. Man, I tell you what, if we win this game, and we should, I'll get to that in a second, I'm definitely putting that video back up. Y'all be on the lookout for that. But anywho, that's it for me, man. I appreciate y'all from joining me here. It's, again, week one. It's football season. It's time to get excited. We're back. And it's go time. So y'all know who it is. Mr. Bolt Gang. Full Bolt regalia. Or Do Not Bang, a.k.a. TOP_FLYT3 over on Twitter. And yep, you can catch me on the Lightning Round podcast. 5 days a week now we got shows. So just pumping out the content. So come check me out over there with my guys, Jamie and Garrett. But until the next one, y'all take it easy and see you Sunday. Okay. Love you. Bye. And I completely forgot. Game prediction. Chargers 27, Dolphins 20. Okay. Love you. Bye.
Well, glad you got the score prediction in there last second there, Craig.
That was sneaky. I like that a lot.
I was a little worried.
Very sneaky.
But great thoughts about what's to come here this week one. Great.
And the Chiefs did lose, Craig.
The Chiefs did lose. The Chefs, they got lost. But some great points, especially with the Vic Fangio thing. I mean, we've played Vic Fangio before when he was on the Broncos, right?
Yep.
Am I remembering that correctly?
You are correct, sir.
And so now he's on Miami, and so we'll see what ends up happening with the Chargers going up against him. But
yeah, the thought is that like I've listened to a lot. I like to listen to the crossover that Locked On Chargers does.
Mhm.
They do a crossover every week with the opposing team's Locked On channel.
Oh, okay.
And they talked about how it's like a new offense with Kellen Moore against the Miami's new defense with Vic Fangio.
Mhm.
And it's like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like defenses translate that quick. You know, like you have a defense that you run and that's what you run. And you have to get the guys eventually over time to fit that defense. Whereas it feels like offenses kind of build, they have like a scheme, but they try to build around the personnel that they have a little bit more. So I'd be interested to see if that's the case. I mean, that's what we have felt as Charger fans. We felt Brandon Staley come in and
familiar.
It's like, why isn't this clicking faster? Like, why don't we have the pieces that work? So I don't know. It feels like it sets up for us to have the upper hand, even though they are both new. Vic obviously is a very, very good defensive coordinator. That Broncos defense was scary.
They were always a pain in the ass for sure.
They were a scary defense. I mean, with the Bears, he had an incredible defense. So the guy's an incredible coach. But it just feels like defenses sometimes take at least a couple of weeks to start clicking and you understand everything going on. Plus you have guys missing like Jalen Ramsey. It feels like I'm obviously biased. I feel like the new offense is a quicker transition than new defense.
Sure. For sure.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I even read there was an article about the Dolphins, the same kind of thing that we heard when some of our players, when coach came in, like, this is difficult. It's a lot. There's a lot of variables. You know, I saw a couple.
And it's the same defense.
Dolphins players. So
yeah,
just hopefully Kellen Moore takes advantage of that, and we'll find some weaknesses. I think this is going to be halftime. Make adjustments is going to be huge this first week, because you don't have any tape on these guys. You don't really know what you're preparing for. You can kind of get rough ideas of what you're going to run into. But I think we're going to find out really big here with our new offensive coordinator, what he does at halftime or what changes he can make for the second half of the game.
All great points, including yours, Craig. Craig, thank you.
Thanks, man.
For stopping by and giving us another awesome Craig experience. All that much more hyped.
Craig is just like a free agent. He does a little bit on this channel, and a little bit
on
that channel, and he's just sprinkling his knowledge around. Yeah,
yeah. I think it's got.
He's the new protein fairy.
He is. He sprinkles it everywhere.
What's the
Gabe
term?
Neighbors is gone.
The contractor, the private contractor. When you're like freelance? Independent contractor.
He's a 1099.
He's an independent contractor.
Go check out his stuff.
1099's in the mail, Craig.
Yeah, go check out his stuff with Lightning Round for sure. He does some cool stuff over there.
Is that coming out of your pocket?
Let's move it on now to the next segment. We've got this buddy. He's over at a place we like to call the Bolt Beat.
Welcome back to another edition of The Bolt Beat. As always, I'm your host, the acting editor over at boltbeat.com, Jason Reed. You can check out our work at boltbeat.com. Follow me on Twitter at EatYourReadies, or follow Boltbeat on Twitter at BB_Chargers. And let me tell you, you're going to want to follow us. You're going to want to follow me, but mostly you're going to want to follow Boltbeat because football season is back, baby. It's been hard. Every week, every time I come at you here on the Charger Chat podcast, it's a different milestone. We hit training camp. We hit the preseason. The preseason's over. The roster cuts happen. And now it's week 1 for the next four plus months of our life, hopefully as long as physically possible for the Chargers' sake. We're going to have Chargers football every single week, except week 5 when we're on the bye. But it's great. I'm excited. I was talking to Kevin with the Charger Chat. I love Chargers football. I get up for Chargers football. I get a little too up for Chargers football, actually. But I also love Red Zone Sunday mornings. The Chargers, when they're at home, are playing at 105 or 125. I like getting my cup of coffee, sitting down, 9:45, figure out my fantasy lineups, place any last-minute bets, and then just watch all the football, all the madness happening. It's a beautiful thing. It gives me an excuse to be inside all day on a Sunday. Still in Southern California, it's beautiful out, so maybe I shouldn't be. But hey, who doesn't love football? Obviously, everyone listening and watching this, first, thank you. But you're obviously interested in football yourselves. Week 1, the Miami Dolphins. This matchup has been talked about ad nauseum, so many different storylines, variables, all these different things. The Dolphins have been a pseudo rival for the Chargers for quite some time now. There's the Tua and Herbert stuff. There's the Dolphins fan base, which sometimes can be a little insufferable on social media. Let's be honest. There's the game last year where the Chargers got the absolute best of the Dolphins. I called it a blowout, had a Dolphins fan email me telling me I didn't know what a blowout was. Yeah, the Chargers only won by 6, but it was only a 1-possession game because the Dolphins kicked the last-minute field goal. And also, look at those team stats. The Chargers literally had twice as many yards and twice the time of possession. But I digress. Last year is last year. We can't assume the Chargers are going to come in here and dominate the Dolphins just because of what happened last year. But as you're well aware, most likely, this Chargers team isn't hurt. They're not playing third stringers. They're going to have Derwin James. They're going to have Joey Bosa. They're going to have all the receiving corps, hopefully, as long as everyone stays healthy. They're going to have their starting tackles. Everyone's going to be there. The only inactives as of the day of recording this Thursday are Chris Rumpf and Diane Henley, which, obviously not great, but those are 2 depth players. You can survive without them. Meanwhile, Dolphins might have to play without Terron Armstead. And now Jalen Waddle was even a little bit banged up. He looks like he's going to play, but he's a little bit banged up. The tides have turned. Everything's looking great for the Chargers. And on paper, this is a game the Chargers should dominate. Now, as you know, as a Chargers fan, sometimes things don't always happen as they should on paper. Sometimes the Chargers drop a game they shouldn't drop. Sometimes it's a punch in the mouth. Anything can happen on any given Sunday, and that's what makes this sport so beautiful. But just know the Chargers have the upper hand in this game. And it's a great matchup for the team. Now, if they don't come up out top, if they end up losing this game and they start the season 0-1, again, let's not overreact. It's a 17-game season. They could lose week 1 and win the next 16 for all we know. If they lose one game, that is not indicative of the season as a whole. Let's not forget, this is a Dolphins team that is hoping to make the playoffs, that a lot of people have making the playoffs. So losing to them isn't necessarily like losing to the Houston Texans in 2020, or was that 2021? I don't know. 2021. I try to wipe that memory from my mind. Excuse me. So while the Chargers should win, and while it would still be disappointing if they don't win, don't get me wrong, let's keep positive vibes like we love to do here at the Charger Chat podcast. Let's not overreact. Let's move on to week 2 in the Tennessee Titans. But I have a good feeling that we are not going to have to do that. So those that listened to the podcast last year and watched this last year know that I like to give out betting picks for the upcoming week. Last year, I would do like the Chargers over under, the Chargers point spread. I would give like soft advice, some props and everything. This year, no, we're going to be sophisticated. We're going to keep track. We're going to have a as the season goes along, a standing record. You'll know how much you would have profited or not profited if you would have followed me. And you'll kind of get a glimpse into how much I may or may not have profited myself. So throughout the year, we're going to do 6 picks a week. We're going to do the Chargers, either spread or point total. We're going to pick one of the two. We're going to either pick against the spread or against the point total. And then I'm also going to give you my favorite NFL underdog and my favorite NFL favorite of the week. So those will be 3 picks right there. The other 3 picks, 3 Chargers related props. I'm going to try to do like a 50-50 prop. Those are like your over-under on passing yards, receiving yards, whatever. I'm going to try to do a slightly higher, odds prop, something where it's like an adjusted line or something along those lines. And then I'm also going to give a third kind of flyer prop where it's like, hey, I see good value here. It might not hit, but the value is good, so might as well take a stab at it. So every week, 6 picks. We'll keep track of the units. For those who aren't familiar with the gambling logic, a unit is just how much you bet on each bet. For some people, if you're a big baller and you bet a lot on sports, you could look at units in the thousands range. For a little baller like me, you're looking at $20 units. Little baller, that's a great nickname. So I'm not gonna say how much someone would have won money wise, but we'll have a long-standing how many units plus or minus I would have been throughout the year. And maybe that'll let you know whether or not next year you should actually, follow me, or maybe just kind of, this guy is just a degenerate who sometimes knows what he's talking about, sometimes he doesn't. Who knows? I'm hoping for the former. This week, I'm gonna leave the Chargers pick as my last reveal. So I'm gonna start. I can't really do that if I'm doing the props. I'll start with the underdog of the week. My favorite underdog of the week in the NFL slate, Tennessee Titans, taking on the New Orleans Saints. Look, we have Derek Carr as a favorite. As a Charger fan, how could I not bet against Derek Carr in week 1 as a favorite? The Saints, they have a decently high win total. It looks like they could win a really bad NFC South division. You put them in the AFC West, they might come in last place. You put them in the NFC South, they might come in first place. That's just how football works. They have Derek Carr, which is an improvement at quarterback from last season. Let's not get it twisted. But they aren't going to have Alvin Kamara. Their defense was good at times, not so great at times. I'm not confident in their head coach, former Raiders head coach, Dennis Allen. And the Titans, yeah, they ended the season horribly, like a wet fart last year. The Chargers were part of that beat them. But at the end of the day, Derrick Henry, fresh legs, start of the season. Ryan Tannehill is still a serviceable quarterback. Is Derek Carr really better than Ryan Tannehill? They're kind of just in that same ballpark, in my opinion. And they're getting points here. I think the Saints are the classic team. They're going to always beat teams that are under 500, and they're always going to lose to teams that are over 500. I think the Titans are an 8-9, 9-8 team, so I'm going to take the points there. Titans +3. If they lose by a field goal, we push. If they lose by 1 or 2, we win. Obviously, if they win, we win. My favorite of the week, it pains me to say, is the Denver Broncos -3.5. Now, there's a little bit of a trend here. We're betting against Derek Carr with the underdog. We're also betting against the Raiders with the favorite. The Raiders are taking on the Broncos. I look at this matchup, and I just don't see how you could find a way for the Raiders to win this game. Could they cover and only lose by 3? Sure. But you have the Chandler Jones stuff that's going on. We have Jimmy G going into this offense, and do we really expect him to do much? And on the other side of the ball, we have the Denver Broncos. Sean Payton is looking to send a message in this game. Let's not get it twisted. Will the Broncos make the playoffs? That's to be seen. I don't think they will, but who knows? Who knows what can happen? The NFL is always unpredictable. But at the very least, they're going to come out week 1 looking to make a statement. And I think Sean Payton isn't going to be the type to want to win this game by 3. He's going to want to beat the brakes off a division rival and prove that he's a Hall of Fame head coach. So I think the Broncos are going to come out. And the best part is, maybe not the best part, we're talking about the Broncos, but the reason to like this is because they don't need to rely on Russell Wilson to win this game. The Raiders don't have a great run defense, and the Broncos have a dynamic duo at running back. They have not Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, but they have a 75% version of that. And early on in the season, the Broncos can rely on that, run the ball down the Raiders' throats, and win a 21-10 game. You look at what the Raiders want to do offensively. Jimmy G, he's going to want to throw to Devontae Adams. He's going to be locked down by Pat Surtain, one of the best corners in the league. Outside of that, what is Jimmy G going to be able to do? Is Josh Jacobs going to have a huge game after this contract dispute? The offensive line isn't that great. I just see the Broncos winning this game by 10 to 14 points, starting the Raiders season 0-1, and hopefully giving us a win on the betting total. As far as the Chargers game, come on, I'm picking Chargers -3. This is the team that dominated the Dolphins last year. If you recall, last year I was very low on that matchup. I didn't see a way in which the Chargers could have stopped the Dolphins. They proved me wrong. They made me eat crow, and now I'm going to back my boys in this one. I want to stay away from the point total. Who knows what can happen in week 1, but I like Chargers -3. Mike McDaniel could be as dismissive as the Brandon Staley defense as he wants, but at the end of the day, this is a defense that Tua has always struggled against, and I don't see that suddenly flipping in his first game back from multiple concussions last year. So those are the 3 picks there. Chargers -3, Titans +3, Broncos -3.5. As far as props go, I'm going Justin Herbert under 290.5 passing yards, -114 odds. I know we want to pick Justin Herbert over on passing yards. I get it. I really get it. But at the end of the day, I think this is a Chargers team that's going to try to establish the run a little bit. We saw it in the preseason. They ran the ball a lot. Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley have both told us all offseason how important it is to them to run the ball and marry the run with the pass. So I think this is going to be a statement game. I don't think the Dolphins are going to be expecting the Chargers to run the ball very much. And I think the Chargers are going to be able to take advantage of that, run some clock down. Yes, the Dolphins have an elite interior defensive line. Let's not get it twisted. But I think the Chargers find a way to establish that, hey, we can run the ball this year. This isn't like last year. We have a deeper running back room. All 3 guys are going to get touches. And Herbert, we're just going to ask you to be superhuman when we need you to. He's still going to have a good game. I'm thinking 275, 280 yards. I think he'll get right up to this 290.5 total, but I think he falls slightly under. I don't see the 300-yard game yet. And let's be honest, are we really going to complain about a 280-yard, 3-touchdown day? No, we're not. That's still a great game. So I think that's all the Chargers need Justin Herbert to do. So I think that's all he's going to do. My mid-tier prop is unfortunately on the Dolphins side of things. I have Raheem Mostert, 80 plus rushing yards. The Dolphins running back room is banged up. Mostert isn't going to be the lead, the lead back all season long. Miami knows this. I think they're going to take advantage of kind of getting a lot of his reps out early in this game against the Chargers. The Chargers had a bad run defense last year, and I think it's going to improve this year, but I still think there's going to be some learning curves, some growing pains early on in the season. And also Tua is going to struggle to throw the ball. So the Dolphins are going to look to establish that run early to give Tua the short yardage situations. I don't think Mostert's going to have this crazy 160-yard 2-touchdown game, but I could see them handing him the ball 20 to 22 times, and he's averaging 4 yards a carry. That gets us to 80 plus. The Chargers can still win the game with Mostert rushing for 80 plus, and we get plus 200, 2-1 odds on that. Finally, the last prop, kind of the flyer, the highest priced one. I'm going Quentin Johnston, anytime touchdown, plus 370. I saw some fans talking on Twitter about if they should bet Quentin Johnston's receiving yards total, the over. I would stay away from the over. Same kind of reason with Herbert. And also, he's going to be the fourth receiver on this depth chart. It's going to be Palmer. It's going to be Keenan. It's going to be Mike Williams. And is there the potential for Johnston to break free for a big gain? Yes, there is. In my opinion, it's better to bet the touchdown in that case. Because let's say you're trying to bet Johnston, 47.5, whatever the line is, you want to bet the over. You're pretty much hoping on a big breakaway, but you're still only getting minus 110, minus 115 odds. Instead, you could hope for that big breakaway by doing the anytime touchdown for plus 370. And even if that doesn't happen, if he doesn't get the big breakaway, the Chargers have already shown that he has a role in the red zone. They put him back specifically in red zone situation, the first preseason game of the year. And it's not, below the Chargers to try to get the rookie a touchdown in his first career game, get the confidence going on a quick slant with his athleticism. So I think if you want to bet on that big play happening, take the way better odds at plus 370, take the anytime touchdown, and then you're also getting the red zone touches rather than taking the receiving yards, which worse odds, and there's a decent chance it doesn't happen because he's the fourth receiver on the depth chart. So that's the way I would go about it if you want to target Quentin Johnston. If you were to parlay all three of those on FanDuel, they have the same game parlays. That would be 20 plus 2,972. So about 29, 30 to 1 odds. Throw $20 on it. That's a $600 payday right away to start your season. Chances of all these happening statistically, are pretty low. But if you want to take, a dart and do the Quentin Johnston one and the Herbert under, do that. If you want to take the Chargers with Quentin Johnston, you could do that. There's ways to sprinkle it in, but we're going to keep track of these as the year goes along. We're going to see how good of a bettor I really am or am not. And it's going to be really fun to talk Chargers football. I apologize last week for the bad audio. It was preseason for me still, dang it, even though the Chargers weren't playing. This week should be much better. I'm much more technically savvy now. We even got the tripod back. I'm back behind the white background. I need to get some Charger stuff for this wall. I'm just ready. Football's back. I'm jazzed, as you can tell. And I'm recording this before the Thursday night football game. I'll give a little bit of prediction. How about this? Lions 29, Chiefs 23. Let's get back to the Charger chat, guys.
All right. Well, Jason, I don't think they were mad that you didn't know what a blowout was, because I think they thought it was a blowhole. Dolphin joke. I'm here all night, folks. Don't forget to tip your waitress. Wow. Some interesting bets there, and some interesting ideas about how this game is going to go. And I'm excited. I think there's some good bets in there too.
I'm just gonna say this. He gave you some betting recommendations, and he did just call the Lions winning without saying it. So
he was so close there.
He was close to hitting that. So I think he could probably trust him.
I think Jason knows a thing or two about a thing or two.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, Jason, thank you for another awesome bold
brother.
beat. I love the little baller too. That was
little.
I think we need to get you a chain that says little baller.
Little baller. Like the little baller and the wet fart.
All right, folks. Well, that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. But before we go, it's time to bring back, because
finally
all off season. It's time to bring back.
So we've done 5 seasons of this. So 5 times 16.
Oh, I already know what's coming.
80 something. We've done 80 of these predictions, something around there.
Right.
We've only hit one.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure we've only hit one. And this was in like 2019, 2020.
How are you going to parlay this into your prediction?
I'm going to piggyback on it. So if you want to hear mine, be really confident, kind of like what you would do with Jason Reed, and just trust everything he says, because I feel like I have a lock on this week.
Go.
We'll go. It's time for bold predictions, folks.
Here it is. First one out of the
Regular
gates.
season.
Chargers 28-17. We've got 2 Bosa sacks, 1 Mac sack, 1 Morgan Fox sack,
Jeez.
4 sacks, and over 175 yards rushing.
Damn.
That is my bold
Insane
prediction.
I like that.
Put your money on it.
Okay.
Put your money.
Let me get my money. All right, Kyle, what are you thinking?
Yeah. So that's like 5 bolt predictions all into one.
It's a parlay.
It's a parlay.
It's a
Got
parlay bolt prediction.
All right.
Pays
Well, I'm gonna
2,700 to 1.
I'm gonna go 31-24 bolts. So we get the dub, get the 7-point spread, definitely cover. And then I'm gonna go with I'm having trouble with the stat line of what I want to predict. Do I go offense or defense? You guys tell me.
Defense. You're a defensive coach. You're a defensive coach.
Go defense. Okay.
Yeah.
My prediction is that we will have a pick 6 in the game. I'm not going to call it a specific player, but an interception, take it back for 6. Compliments of Tua Tagovailoa.
Dope.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yes.
I like that. All right. I'm going to predict 24-13. And I'm going to say that I'm going to say that Quentin Johnston gets 2 touchdowns.
Oh, Jesus.
I think
Welcome to the NFL, bro.
I think they're just going to leave him unguarded, man. I think he's just going to be able to find a way to get open and just walk right in and get 2 touchdowns. 2 tutties for Quentin Johnston. Calling it.
Rookie debut. I like
Love it.
Love it. All right, folks. Well, bolt predictions are in the books. It's the end of the episode, and the next thing that's going to happen is we're going to all be together.
And hopefully we get an
Hugging.
instant victory reaction.
Yes.
Let's go.
At the tailgate.
Yes.
At the
Find
tailgate.
us. Yes. Find us at the tailgate Thunder Rally. We're going to be
Dude,
there.
did you guys see Snappy reposted one of my old pictures from the tailgate drinking out of his giant cooler?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It was so funny.
Let's run it back.
All right.
That was an
folks.
all-time photo.
That was so good.
Intense. Yeah.
That was a good day. But all right. That's going to do it for us here at Charge Chat, folks. Don't forget to bolt up because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Batch.